Napoleon Bonaparte, the boy who conquered Europe. Imagine being a young boy from a small island, constantly bullied because of your accent and appearance. Nobody expects much from you. Yet one day you rise to become the most powerful man in Europe, commanding hundreds of thousands of soldiers and changing world history forever. This is the incredible story of Napoleon Bonaparte. Napoleon was born on August 15, 1769, on the island of Corsica, located in the Mediterranean Sea. His family was not rich, but they belonged to a minor noble class. Napoleon's father wanted his son to receive a good education, so young Napoleon was sent to military school in France. However, life was not easy for him there. He spoke French poorly and had a strong Corsican accent. Other students often mocked him. He was lonely and spent most of his time reading books about history, warfare, and famous leaders, such as Alexander the Great and Julius Caesar. While others were playing, Napoleon was studying battles and dreaming of greatness. From a young age, he showed several qualities that would later make him famous. He was extremely ambitious, disciplined, intelligent, and confident. He believed that a person's destiny could be shaped through hard work and courage. Then came an event that changed everything. In 1789, the French Revolution erupted. The people of France overthrew the old monarchy and demanded liberty and equality. During this period of chaos, many opportunities opened for talented military officers. Napoleon quickly proved himself. In 1793, during the siege of Toulon, he demonstrated brilliant military skills by helping French forces capture the city from their enemies. His success earned him promotion and attention from powerful leaders. Soon, Napoleon became one of France's most promising young generals. At just 26 years old, he was given command of the French army in Italy. Many believed the army was weak and unlikely to win. Napoleon thought differently. When he arrived, he inspired his soldiers with powerful speeches. He told them that glory and victory awaited them. His soldiers were poorly equipped, hungry, and exhausted. Yet, under Napoleon's leadership, they transformed into a powerful fighting force. He moved faster than enemy armies expected. Instead of fighting large battles head-on, he divided enemy forces and defeated them one by one. His Italian campaign became a masterpiece of military strategy. Victory after victory made Napoleon famous throughout Europe. People began seeing him as a military genius. But Napoleon wanted even more. In 1798, he launched a campaign in Egypt. His goal was to weaken Britain's influence and expand French power. Although the campaign achieved mixed results, Napoleon returned to France as a national hero. At that time, France was facing political instability. The government was weak, corruption was widespread, and many people feared the country would collapse. Napoleon saw an opportunity. In 1799, he carried out a coup and took control of the French government. At only 30 years old, he became the leader of France. Many leaders would have stopped there. Napoleon did not. He reorganized the government, improved education, strengthened the economy, and created the Napoleonic Code, a legal system that influenced laws in many countries and still affects legal systems today. His reforms brought order to France after years of revolution and chaos. Yet Napoleon's greatest ambition remained military conquest. In 1804, he crowned himself Emperor of France. This was a remarkable moment. The boy who had once been mocked in school now placed a crown on his own head and became emperor. Soon, Europe faced the full power of Napoleon. One of his greatest victories came in 1805 at the Battle of Austerlitz. Often called his masterpiece, Napoleon defeated the combined armies of Austria and Russia, despite being outnumbered. His strategy was brilliant. He deliberately appeared weak to lure his enemies into a trap. When they attacked, he struck at the perfect moment and shattered their forces. The victory shocked Europe. Country after country fell under Napoleon's influence. He conquered or controlled much of Italy, Germany, the Netherlands, Belgium, Poland, and many other territories. So how did he conquer so much territory? The answer lies in several key factors. First, Napoleon was a military genius. He could analyze battlefields quickly and make decisions faster than his opponents. Second, his armies moved with incredible speed. Before enemies could prepare, Napoleon's soldiers were already attacking. Third, he inspired loyalty. His troops admired his courage because he often shared hardships with them and led from the front. Fourth, many European governments were slow and outdated, while Napoleon's military system was modern and efficient. These advantages allowed him to dominate Europe for years. At the height of his power, Napoleon controlled or influenced much of the continent. Kings and emperors feared him. His name became known around the world. But success often creates new challenges. Napoleon made one major mistake. He attempted to invade Russia in 1812. At first, his massive army advanced deep into Russian territory. However, the Russians used a strategy called scorched earth. As they retreated, they destroyed food supplies and resources that Napoleon's army needed. Then winter arrived. The cold was brutal. Thousands of soldiers died from starvation, disease, and freezing temperatures. What had begun as one of the largest military invasions in history turned into a disaster. Napoleon's power began to weaken. Seeing his vulnerability, European nations united against him. In 1814, he was defeated and forced to abdicate. He was exiled to the island of Elba. For most leaders, the story would end there, not Napoleon. In one of history's most astonishing comebacks, he escaped from Elba and returned to France. As he marched toward Paris, soldiers sent to arrest him instead joined his side. His return became known as the 100 Days. For a brief moment, Napoleon regained power, but his enemies were determined to stop him once and for all. In 1815, at the famous Battle of Waterloo, Napoleon faced British and Allied forces. After a hard-fought battle, he was defeated. This time, there would be no comeback. He was exiled to the remote island of St. Helena in the South Atlantic Ocean, far away from Europe. There, he spent his final years reflecting on his extraordinary life. Napoleon died on May 5, 1821, at the age of 51. Yet even after his death, his influence remained. Today, Napoleon is remembered as one of history's most fascinating figures. Some view him as a hero who modernized France and spread revolutionary ideas. Others see him as a conqueror whose wars caused immense suffering. But almost everyone agrees on one thing: his rise was extraordinary. He began life as a relatively unknown boy from a small island. Through intelligence, determination, ambition, and military brilliance, he rose to become emperor and reshape Europe. Napoleon's story reminds us that history is often changed by individuals who refuse to accept ordinary limits. Whether admired or criticized, Napoleon Bonaparte remains one of the most influential leaders the world has ever seen. And that is the remarkable story of the man who went from a bullied schoolboy to the ruler of much of Europe.